Mais c'est bonsoir YouTube, Twitch, celle-là, elle est pour vous. J'espère que vous allez bien, messieurs, dames, qui me regardez en ce moment. Je n'ai rien réglé. Est-ce que ça roule? J'ai du son, tout va bien, impeccable. Si je fais ça, tac, j'ai une heure étrange qui apparaît à l'écran. C'est parfait, je me remets en cam. Du coup, je fais un petit live aujourd'hui, tranquillement. Je fais une deuxième session sur Stanley Parable, qu'on a commencé ensemble, du coup, la semaine dernière déjà. C'était samedi matin. Samedi matin, effectivement. On a découvert ce jeu de l'espace, du futur. C'était trop bien. On a passé un super bon moment avec les copains et les copines. Avec notamment Caulifla et puis notre cher Julito, le boomer. Et donc on remercie à nouveau ce cher Diodio, Diodio Squad Adventure sur Twitch, qui m'a fait gagner Stanley Parable suite au giveaway de son live 12h. Donc c'est trop bien, merci encore Diodio. On va le soutenir. Il y aura une URL qui va traîner un peu partout. Si je me mets là, voilà, elle est juste... pas du tout, elle est juste là. Et je suis pas très bon en présentation météo, moi. Donc là, vous avez twitch.tv, Diodio Squad Adventure. C'est ça qu'on va voir. Kiné, joueur multigaming, très cool. Et là, ça va streamer, j'ai vu chez lui que ça allait streamer du Strikers. Donc Mario Strikers, autrement dit, on y va. D'ailleurs, il faut que je commande ça, il faut que j'aille acheter ça rapidement pour monter un petit club avec mon cher Margoulin et le petit Vic, le Pokémaniac. Et ça va être plutôt sympa. Alors, je suis resté sur cet écran là de Stanley Parable pour une raison simple, c'est que avant de lancer mon live, j'ai quand même fait un minimum de réglages. Un minimum, parce que j'étais sur PT Playable Teaser lundi soir, donc un jeu d'horreur, donc j'avais un peu changé mon interface, évidemment, pour qu'elle soit un peu plus dark et tout, donc j'ai remis l'interface standard avec Pikachu et compagnie, j'ai remis les petits diodio pour remercier le copain, et du coup j'ai lancé le jeu pour vérifier que la source vidéo fonctionnait bien, c'était tout à fait le cas, sauf que du coup je suis arrivé sur cet écran en trailer actuel, qui est le premier écran que j'ai eu quand j'ai lancé le jeu pour la première fois, et là je me suis dit, est-ce que j'ai sauvegardé ma partie? La réponse était probablement que non, mais est-ce qu'il n'y avait pas une sauvegarde automatique? Et là la réponse était probablement que oui. Je n'en avais pas la certitude, donc je me suis dit, bon, je vérifie au cas où. Est-ce que je lance mes captions? Je vérifie au cas où. Donc, j'ai rentré l'heure actuelle, donc c'était 18h44 à ce moment-là, 6h44 PM. Et là, il y a le narrateur du jeu qui... Alors, j'ai vu que les sous-titres, pour le coup, parce que j'avais pas le casque sur les oreilles. Le narrateur qui me dit, tiens, c'est marrant, toi, tu t'es fait chier à mettre 2 fois la bonne heure, alors que la plupart des joueurs, ils se mettent à 12 heures, à 12.00 comme c'est là, et puis ils se cassent pas le cul à faire plus. Et ben j'étais assez content de me dire que le jeu avait retenu, que j'avais lancé le jeu une deuxième fois, que j'avais mis l'heure. Et il m'a dit, bon, bah, vu que t'es cool, la prochaine fois que tu lances le jeu, tu mettras ton heure préférée. Donc même pas à l'heure actuelle, il m'a dit tu mettras ton heure préférée. Et j'ai pas d'heure préférée, je m'en fous, ça dépend des jours, hein, si tu veux. Si j'ai un rendez-vous pour aller faire de la Porsche sur circuit à 8h30 du matin, ça va être 8h30, mon heure préférée. Et si je finis le taf à 18h30 un vendredi soir, eh ben ça va être 18h30. Donc j'en sais rien, donc ce que je vais faire, c'est que je vais remettre l'heure actuelle, tout simplement, parce que moi je suis un con, je suis comme ça. Comme on aime bien jouer au con avec le narrateur. Il est 7h08 au moment où j'enregistre cette vidéo, où je suis à ce moment du stream, messieurs, dames, je confirme. Qu'est-ce qu'ils vont me raconter maintenant? Ah, voilà, il est resté sur l'idée de l'heure préférée de la journée, alors que, personnellement, un petit peu bas les couilles, quoi, de 19h08. Encore que, souvent c'est l'heure où on mange, tout ça. Pas du tout, je mange beaucoup plus tard. Ou bien n'avez-vous pas résisté à la tentation de m'indiquer la bonne heure? Effectivement, monsieur. Et c'est vrai. Oh la vache, c'est magnifique. Tout à fait exact. Très bien. Très bien. Il est bon de collecter des données, hein, petit fils de... Non, j'ai mis safe place ce soir comme hashtag, donc je ne dis pas de curse words. Ah mince. Ok. Ok. Ok, donc vous avez vu ce qu'il m'a dit, hein, concrètement. Ah oui, pardon, je suis pas en 21e sur le... C'est pas grave, dans le jeu, ça sera très bien. Je me remets en full cam, je reviens au bureau. J'ai envie de tester, évidemment. C'est ce que le jeu nous encourage à faire, de toute façon. Hein. Je relance le jeu. Voyons ce qu'il va nous faire, cette fois. Énorme! C'est magnifique ce jeu, c'est magnifique. C'est superbe, enfin je veux dire, qu'est-ce qu'on veut de plus dans un jeu? Rien. Intéressant, il y a plusieurs neufs. Alors pour moi, jusqu'à ce que ça devienne neuf, paf, là ça devient neuf. C'est comme ça que je le vois. Il change pas le menu, je suis dégoûté. Tant pis. Oculotatoire ou gratèche? Qu'est-ce que je préfère entre oculotatoire et gratèche? J'aime bien oculotatoire. Ça fait un petit mélange d'ostentatoire et d'oculaire. J'aime bien. Ne réglez pas le curseur. Oui, je sais quelle heure il est. Il est 19h10 approximativement. Je vois pas d'heure, frérot. Quelle heure est-il de toute façon? Oui, non. Merci, merci frérot. J'adore ce jeu. Il est trop bien. Oui. 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 Ah, on relance le jeu. Non, non, je suis désolé, c'est beaucoup trop amusant. Je recommence. C'est beaucoup trop bien. Enfin, je veux dire, à un moment, pourquoi se priver de ce bonheur d'échanger avec le jeu de manière un peu ridicule? Enfin, ridicule, c'est pas ridicule, mais c'est un peu hasardeux, quoi. Ah, Wisebot a banni Amzi67 pour une protection anti-bot. Tu étais un bot, monsieur? Eh bien, je te souhaite une agréable journée. Quelle heure est-il? Est-ce que quelqu'un peut me dire? Non, bien sûr, personne ne sait rien. Je sais l'heure qu'il est, moi. C'est un peu mon travail. Et maintenant, mon travail est terminé. Adieu. Je n'ai plus de renseignements à vous demander. J'ai toutes les données sur vous qu'il me faut. Je ne vous connais toujours pas. Et vous ne me connaissez pas. Non, toi, je te connais pas du tout. Mais je sais quelle heure il est, moi. Tu m'emmerdes. Pardon. Tu m'embêtes. Je ne serai pas là la prochaine fois que le jeu se lancera, mais ce n'est pas grave. Les jeux vidéo sont faits pour être joués en solitaire. Vous appréciez ce utile, non? C'est peut-être la seule information utile que j'ai apprise de vous. Bien utile pour moi de vous laisser. J'ai besoin de temps pour me préparer. Ce n'est pas dans ma description de travail, mais ça va. Ouais. Si vous pouvez me trouver, parlez bientôt. Parlez bientôt, la traduction un moyen quand même. Je recommence, je suis désolé. Je pense qu'on ne le reverra pas de suite. Faut le trouver quoi. Et le trouver, à mon avis, c'est un petit easter egg en l'occurrence, qui doit être plutôt bien dissimulé. Cela ne m'intéresse pas. Hop. Je vois pourquoi je cache mon bureau, ça n'a aucune sorte d'intérêt. De toute façon, la source est inexistante, donc vous aurez juste un écran qui me dit qu'il n'y a pas de source. Bon, allez. The end is never the end. On y va.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company.
Ah, il faut que je redéfinisse les boutons. Ça, c'est terrible, par contre. T'aurais pu quand même t'en souvenir. Hein. En avant, en arrière, à gauche, à droite. Sauter, space, mais on n'en a pas besoin. S'accroupir, left shift, interagir, E. Retour, reprendre la partie. Let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alors j'espère qu'on est quand même dans la version Deluxe. Et que j'ai pas recommencé de zéro. Parce que je vous dis, je sais pas si ça a sauvegardé ou pas. Ah, new content. Bon, voilà. Donc non, c'est bon. Si on a ouvert new content, c'est qu'il est validé, je crois. Je peux pas passer là? Ou là, à droite? Nope.
When
Alors,
Stanley
voyons.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps
Yep.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Non, je vais redescendre par là, moi. Je me souviens plus exactement ce qui se passait, mais c'était assez cool. Let's go. Salut Flo. Comment vas-tu, mon ami?
But Stanley didn't want to
T'as
go
réussi à
back to
rentrer
the
de Lyon?
office. He
À
wanted to
franchir
wander about
l'obstacle
and
du
get
bouchon?
even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go
J'espère que Roger n'est pas mort, parce que si tu l'as insulté alors qu'il est dead, c'est un manque de respect ultime.
Oh no, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly...
Ah la vache.
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Tu fais attention sur la route, hein, du coup, si t'es en train de rouler.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left,
Allez,
right.
dépêche-toi.
Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Bon, je me souviens. Ah oui, on arrive là, tout simplement. Ah, il va me faire bugger.
No.
Il va me faire
This isn't right
recommencer.
at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding?
Pirate,
It's all rubbish
pirate.
now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
No. Allez, on recommence.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps he simply missed a memo. Let's go.
When Stanley... Wait.
Ah, ça a changé, trop bien.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
Enfin du neuf.
Oh, did something change?
Yep.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh putain, c'est la même pièce à chaque fois, quel enfer. Ah non, j'ai rien dit. Alors là, par contre... Que de choix. Que de choix. Allez, à gauche. Ok.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Non, t'inquiète.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Non. Bordel.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah mais il y a plus de porte
Okay,
cette
yep,
fois.
it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Je crois qu'on a rien loupé, frérot. Si, ça?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Oh, je tourne en rond.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way
Ça
and
devient
retrace
complexe,
our
là.
steps.
Ok, let's go.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is
T'inquiète.
this the story? I
Yes.
don't think so.
Ah, merde,
I
putain.
can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this?
Je suis perdu.
You win!
Yes!
Congratulations! I know
Allez,
it
allez.
It really paid off. So, good job. Oh no, I don't feel.
Sa
right
gueule sur
about this
Deuxième,
at
là,
all.
impeccable.
We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
Si,
Some
si.
people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
La vache.
All right,
Oh.
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Eh,
Just
c'est une nouvelle
follow
pièce,
the
ça.
line. How simple is that?
Trop cool.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
Très
Simply by
intéressant,
the
ça.
act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence
pas, hein.
rests
C'est trop compliqué, ce
inside
qu'il
of
dit.
your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential
Oh, putain, il est
mental
monté au mur, hein.
subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You
Quel
know what?
merdier.
I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Allez. C'est parti.
Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
Allez, je
Stanley,
l'écoute.
this fern will be very important later in the story.
Ah ouais?
Make
Pourquoi?
sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ah, je m'en bats complètement les reins, frérot. Je m'en rappellerai. Hein.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this... Oh, no.
Ah, bah c'est la ligne qui m'a amené là, gros.
You
Hein.
have done this to us, and after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ah merde. Putain, je me suis fait couler un café, je l'ai oublié. J'ai oublié mon café. Frérot, j'ai oublié mon café, je reviens. Vous allez m'entendre dévaler les escaliers comme un ouf, mais j'ai envie de mon café. Café! Quelle classe tous ces bruits! Magnifique! J'avais vraiment la flemme de muter ce micro de merde. Hop, le café est là. Comment ils vont? Complètement. Complètement accro. Alors, le casque. La scène. La scène. La scène. La scène. Il te reste beaucoup de route, mon pauvre Flo. Je compatis, hein. J'ai fait 2 grosses journées hier et avant-hier où je suis rentré bien tard. J'étais content de plier un poil plus tôt cet après-midi. Putain, il y a des PC allumés ou à éteindre, c'est cool ça. J'ai envie d'éteindre les PC.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Quelle direction? J'ai pas vu. J'écoutais pas, je ne suis pas du tout concentré, je suis fatigué. Ok, pourquoi pas, 437. Par contre, c'est pas un bureau.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Ah, je tourne en rond, putain.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
C'est un scandale. C'est scandaleux, monsieur. C'est honteux. J'en ai marre. Ça me fatigue.
Oh no, not you again.
Oh, mais laisse-la faire, cette pauvre.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ah, elle est partie. Ah, let's go.
A choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Alors, la fin troublante. Vous avez joué la fin troublante pendant 20 minutes.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
Attends, tais-toi, je veux juste savoir ce que je dois faire pour avoir le Stanley meurt. Oui, t'inquiète pas, putain, en plus, surtout s'ils sont malades. Je vais pas streamer longtemps, Florent, donc c'est pas grave, on se voit très bientôt de toute façon. Passe une belle soirée en famille. Alors, s'aventurer vers des territoires vierges, retrouver la ligne, c'est fait, trouver le programme de la fin troublante, le narrateur relance le jeu. Alors, je vais prendre des notes, je suis désolé, c'est pas hyper streamogénique.
I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Oh non, j'ai pas le temps, comment je fais pause?
Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Ou alors je prends une capture d'écran, je ne sais pas prendre une capture d'écran, je prends une photo.
How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
Ça vous permet de découvrir le Pikachu de ma coque de téléphone. Voilà, c'est très intéressant.
I guess now we just wait. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey.
Le narrateur relance le jeu. Cinquième redémarrage. Le narrateur oublie qu'il a déjà relancé le jeu.
I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually.
Okay.
Well, in the meantime, if you...
Ok, relance le jeu. On est là. Cinquième redémarrage. Le narrateur oublie qu'il a déjà relancé le jeu. Stanley essaie de suivre l'histoire, mais il est empêché.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
D'accord, hein, j'essaie de suivre l'histoire, c'est ça? Mais il est empêché.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Merci, merci, salut, ciao.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been
est-ce
keeping
que je vais me
from
rappeler
him.
le code depuis
And
l'autre
so
jour?
the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2-8. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Nope.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few
Ah
moments
non,
with some
putain.
calming new age music.
Incroyable. Mais ne peut aller nulle part ni faire quoi que ce soit, le jeu se lance tout seul, j'en suis pas là moi. Moi je suis l'histoire et ça a l'air de fonctionner, donc ça m'emmerde, pardon, ça m'embête.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated,
Merci.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Let's go. Donc j'espère que ça va s'arrêter cette affaire. Je prends juste ça, du coup j'ai pas pris de notes du tout. Tac 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 tac, let's go.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You
Très
can't
bien.
buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried.
Très
So,
bien.
I implore you to savor each and every moment
Ah là là,
you
je
come
suis
across
heureux,
one of
mais
these
je suis heureux que la
beautiful
figurine quoi.
figurines.
Où suis-je? Yes, le bouton rouge. Bon appétit à vous.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more
Du coup, j'ai
free to
raté la
think for
fin,
himself, to
la fin
question the
troublante.
nature of
Je pense
his
que ça
job.
n'a pas
Why did he
fonctionné.
feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Chiotte.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Et si je force le redémarrage du jeu moi-même, est-ce qu'il se passe un truc? Bon, en tout cas, la fin troublante, elle est loupée. Hein.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
Ah,
a
énorme.
memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
énorme. Lol, looks like Force 27. Lol. Ok. Très bien. Completionist instinct. Par contre, moi j'ai pas envie de trouver les... J'ai pas du tout envie de les trouver, les collectionnables, là. Je m'en fous, hein. Les collectibles, pardon. Je m'en tape.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ok, dommage.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Pas du tout.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Il est terrible ce jeu, il me fatigue.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
Comment on sort de la boucle, je me rappelle plus.
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Ouais.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief.
Mais non.
To have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
Eh ben c'est long.
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still
Ça fait au moins 17 tours que je fais.
He imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And when he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Wake
he
up.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.
Wake up.
The fresh air of a world outside this one.
Wake up.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
C'est très long, surtout quand on l'a déjà vécu, quoi.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Ah, enfin. Allez. Allez.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Ah, la fameuse.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah, je suis dégoûté. La fin, machin, je sais pas quoi, chelou. Là, ça avait l'air trop bien et ça a pas marché. J'ai pas réussi à la poursuivre. Du coup, je suis un peu dégoûté, j'avoue.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
Parce que là,
to
je suis
his
revenu dans la
boss's
boucle un peu
office.
standard. Je sais pas s'il y a beaucoup d'autres choses à faire évoluer, mais ça me saoule un peu. J'étais descendu ou monté l'autre fois? Je vais monter. Putain, cette musique infinie de l'enfer. Pardon. J'ai vraiment envie de mourir avec cette musique là. Je suis revenu au même endroit. Même histoire que l'autre fois, quoi.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Quelle surprise. J'ai essayé d'appuyer l'autre bouton, ça a pas marché. J'ai été contraint et forcé à descendre. Loading, loading, loading.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Nope. J'ai essayé de faire demi-tour au dernier moment, voir si ça changeait quelque chose, mais je suis pas sûr.
course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Allez, let's go, on tente des choses.
Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Eh ben, let's find out. Tu vas voir. On va pas être déçus. The end is never the end.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Ok, il s'est bien foutu de ma gueule. Je peux pas revenir en arrière. J'ai déjà fait cette boucle en plus, exactement de cette manière-là.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Bon ben on enchaîne, hein, tant pis. Mais je crois que ça va être ma dernière boucle du coup. J'ai bien aimé ce qui s'est passé là tout à l'heure avec le lancement du jeu. Et puis
What
avec
horrible
la petite
secret
histoire
did
là, à
this
la
place
fin, je sais pas quoi,
hold?
troublante là,
Stanley
mais
thought
j'ai
to
pas réussi à aller au bout.
Did he have the strength to find out?
Et là je suis reparti sur les chemins un petit peu plus classiques du jeu. Et du coup ça m'ennuie terriblement.
Now
Je suis
the monitors
terriblement
jumped to life,
ennuyé.
their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Freedom meant nothing. Allez, on monte.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No.
Let's go.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Je ne sais pas, je ne
Had
sais
he
pas, je ne
truly
sais
spent
pas.
his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
I
After
did.
they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Pas vraiment.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls
Ah oui, mais
off,
bon.
and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode. eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the...
Non, je m'en fous. Vraiment, je m'en fous. J'ai déjà vécu ce truc. J'ai pas envie. On va se faire un truc. Je vais tenter de relancer le jeu pour voir s'il se repasse un nouveau truc. Vraiment, j'ai envie de casser le jeu. Là, je suis revenu dans la boucle de base, ça m'intéresse pas. On revient là. Est-ce qu'il va se repasser un truc? Ben voilà. C'est nouveau ça? Pas du tout. Je ne sais plus.
This is the story.
Putain, faut que je refasse mes boutons encore, mais ça c'est terrible. Hein. Let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps he had simply missed the memo. Oh, j'ai pas envie de faire ça. On connaît. Et j'ai pas envie de trouver les collectibles, je m'en fous complètement des collectibles. J'ai envie de refaire une histoire, moi.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was
not
the correct way to the meeting
fancy.
room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Et voilà.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non, il a pris la porte en face.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ah oui, je vais pouvoir me suicider là du coup.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
J'avais pas encore eu cette fin, donc ça me fait plaisir.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took
Allez,
the
let's go.
first
Je vais en
open
face
door on
encore.
his left.
On va essayer de faire autre chose.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's
Cette fois, je
incredible
me
he wasn't
suicide pas.
fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Alors, bleu ou rouge? Il m'a dit rouge.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating.
Énorme.
Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here.
Ah,
I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I'd written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Allez, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Énorme. Je sais pas si c'est pour de vrai, mais... Il est énorme. Ah! Seulement les 3 pires pourcents ont pris la porte bleue? Ben bordel. Allez, je me casse. Il est pas gentil avec moi, ce monsieur.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Putain, c'est terrible.
In this game, the baby pulls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Est-ce qu'il y a un joueur dans le monde qui a joué 4 heures à ce truc? Surtout avec ce bruit-là, laisse tomber.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was
4 heures, sérieux? Est-ce qu'il y en a un qui a fait 4 heures de jeu de ça? Laisse tomber, quoi.
Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Ok, let's go. Ah ouais, non, 4 heures, laisse tomber, quoi. J'ai déjà failli arrêter il y a une demi-heure.
What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley, and it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Let's go. J'ai jamais joué à Firewatch.
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
Let's go.
Preferably something with walls. Something with nice...
Ça, c'est de la version de base du jeu ou c'est du contenu additionnel? Parce que du coup, j'ai trouvé un nouveau chemin qui me paraît du contenu de base, mais je suis pas sûr. Allez, c'est reparti. Ok, ça ressemble à... au jeu de foot en voiture, là, je me rappelle pas le nom, mais c'est ça.
Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Ok, ça marche, ils ont quand même changé un peu.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Elle est où la balle? Oh bah dis donc. Je vais essayer de marquer un but quand même.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Oh oui. Oh oui.
Yes. Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
Ah, c'est parce qu'elle est du côté rouge. C'est d'un...
Are you enjoying this, Stanley?
What the fuck? Pour la petite info, tout le jeu a été refait car ils ont changé le moteur graphique, ils en ont également profité pour refaire le doublage. D'accord, ça roule. Je savais pas.
That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes.
Très
You get to
intéressant
have
ça.
fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or
Elle est
boundaries,
vachement bien la
video
voix
games
off,
are
hein.
nothing.
J'ai
Yes,
rigolé plus d'une
that's
fois.
what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Hop, j'ai pas envie d'attendre.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Est-ce qu'il y a de nouveau la troisième porte ou pas?
When
Non.
Stanley came to a set of
Allez,
two
on y
open
retourne.
doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Quoi?
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Qu'est-ce
The
que j'ai
lounge
fait?
was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
J'ai fait une bêtise.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Tant pis.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps
Pour moi, il
we've
était
gotten
fini.
off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to
Je
happen
vais
to
prendre la
you?
porte rouge
Why?
du coup.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
J'adore.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Là, ça me fait mourir
I
de
still
rire.
don't think
Voilà,
we
ça j'adore. On se
communicated
croirait dans Aladdin.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Bon, allez.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you
Des
see
fois.
that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And
Okay.
I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Ok.
What do we want? What are we
Sans se
looking
croire sur la lune.
for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here,
Incroyable.
right in this moment with this place, Stanley, no, wait. Where are you
Ah, pardon.
going?
Pardon.
Right. Where were we?
Bah, j'en sais rien, parle. Ah, il me fait chier. Ah bah putain, nous revoilà dans les locaux quoi.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Ok. Ça, et les bandes de placo et tout. Oh, stylé, c'est beau.
Good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Si je saute, là, il se passe quoi? Ah, je peux pas tomber. Bon, le spectacle est mignon, hein, c'est beau, les lumières et tout, là. C'est marrant, le ciel n'est pas étoilé au-dessus de nous. Ouais, je me casse. C'est incroyable ce jeu, hein. Franchement, j'adore. J'aime bien l'expérience.
Everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
Ça va, c'est des marches d'escalier.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Oh non.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Elle est ouverte la porte en bas ou pas? Il y a de la lumière. C'est la porte d'où j'arrive ou pas du tout? Ah mais oui, c'est la porte d'où j'arrive. Bonjour, je m'appelle Julien. Je suis un petit peu idiot.
No!
Oh non!
Thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. No. No, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? But you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a
J'adore
choice
lui
after
qui essaie de
all.
me culpabiliser
Well, this
encore
one is
plus.
yours.
Allez, let's go. C'est le dernier.
Is it over?
Ah,
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
let's go!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bon, est-ce que j'ai fait toutes les boucles là? Je sais pas, j'en sais rien. Elle était bien la boucle avec la troisième porte là.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first. Just
Ah mais
to
grave, lui
admire
dit
it.
n'hésite pas hein. Parce que j'ai pas
Standing
l'impression
now in
d'avoir
this
trouvé
incredible
grande chose
room,
comme secret et tout.
Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business,
Si t'as des
Stanley
petites
took
infos
the
rigolotes,
first
je suis
open door
preneur.
on
Hein.
his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
L'endroit avec tous les écrans. Oui, je sais comment on y va. Dis-moi. Vas-y, pour l'instant, je vais continuer un peu. Je vais retourner au fond là, je me souviens plus. Mais s'il faut recommencer le jeu pour aller où tu veux que j'aille, t'inquiète pas, je recommencerai.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting.
Tu peux monter sur le bureau en montant sur une chaise. Putain, j'ai essayé plein de trucs comme ça la dernière fois, j'ai pas réussi.
Stop trying to make
Et
every
ainsi
decision
sauter au
by
fond.
yourself.
Ok.
I'm not asking
Ah, je
for
suis
me,
très curieux, ouais, j'aimerais bien faire ça.
for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Ah, je me rappelle plus d'ici. Ah oui, le fameux téléphone.
Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her.
Ouais, j'avais évidemment
If you can
débranché le
truly
téléphone.
place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Allez, je décroche. Ah, je peux pas? Ah si. Ça, j'ai pas vu encore.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a
Ah,
loving
tu vois, ça c'est trash. Tu
They wanna
m'étonnes que je vais
commit
pas le
their
laisser
life to
trop
you.
heureux. Hein.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
C'est un
Trying
fils
to
de...
get you to
Hein?
see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in
Ah!
now.
Bonjour, vous faites
This
peur.
is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley
mince,
is
j'ai pas
quite a
vu.
boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
Salut.
Every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature
Attends, je vais
of
arrêter de
his
toucher
existence.
à quoi que ce soit pour voir le bouton. Appuyez sur F.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go
Ah,
on
j'en ai marre, j'ai pas envie de
fantastic
l'écouter.
adventures. From
J'ai envie
behind
d'aller
his
voir la
desk,
salle du fond.
Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands.
Carrément,
It was
je suis d'accord avec
wonderful.
toi.
And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
C'est des génies, franchement, les mecs qui ont fait ça.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished.
Pardon, je suis
off the
très
face
fatigué,
of
je suis
the
désolé.
earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Pour passer du temps entre potes.
So
J'en ai un peu
he
marre
went
là, j'avoue.
further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
J'en ai marre. Prépare le dîner, allez,
As he
go.
wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Incroyable, hein?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer.
Je fatigue. Il se passe
That
un
as
truc
long as
après
he
ça là
remains
ou...
here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley.
Ah, ça marche. Merci beaucoup. Bah écoute, joyeux anniversaire.
Do not do it.
Et puis je vais aller voir la salle secrète du coup. Merci beaucoup et je finirai là-dessus, je pense.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
Salut Ludie en tout cas, merci encore.
In a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself. How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley.
Merci à toi. Salut Ludie, à bientôt.
I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see.
Allez.
Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Oh. Ah bah oui, tu parles. Bon allez.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Il me parle même plus.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Je me disais. Blablabla.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Ah bah tiens, il y a
Stanley
Malus
was
qui est en
once
lurk.
again stunned to discover
Merci,
not an
Malus.
indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So
pour
he
ne pas
relaxed
écouter
for a
cette
few
musique
moments
New Age
with some
apaisante
calming
comme
New
il
Age
dit,
music.
parce qu'elle est absolument atroce.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Heureusement que le chemin est pas plus long, hein, parce que putain, on passerait un temps fou. Let's go.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Let's go. Le Mind Control Facility.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Alors, monter sur une chaise sur le bureau et tomber. Oh, énorme. Merci, Ludi.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Énorme.
Good job, you did it.
Énorme.
Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Très très long. Allez, il est temps pour moi de m'arrêter là. Bon, c'était cool, j'ai découvert d'autres trucs. On a fait un peu du new content, je pense. On a trouvé la salle cachée grâce à Ludixel. Merci Ludi. Et puis on remercie évidemment ce cher Diodio. Je n'arrête pas de le remercier. Hop, le Diodio, il est là. Twitch.tv/Diodio Squad Adventure. on va checker sa chaîne. Si on a mal au genou, si on a mal au dos, on va checker sa chaîne. Si on aime bien du Super Mario. Strikers, le gros foot, on va voir sa chaîne. Si on n'aime pas ça, on va voir sa chaîne. Voilà. Merci YouTube d'avoir regardé cette VOD. Je vous dis à bientôt. Salut Twitch. On va lancer un petit raid, même si vous êtes tous en lurk, c'est pas grave. Et puis, ben, à bientôt. Salut, ciao.